How do you kill something that can't die? This Vocaloid opera attempts to answer this question through a collaboration among musician Keiichiro Shibuya, producer-playwright Toshiki Okada, and filmmaker YKBX, and of course, the famous virtual idol Hatsune Miku, tuned by iconic Vocaloid producer Pinocchio P. Greetings, Shadow Sprites! I'm Seraphina Shadowgrave, your friendly vampire demon archivist, and today we'll be discussing the often misunderstood Vocaloid opera, The End. The End premiered in 2013 and features something almost unheard of for an opera. No human singers, no orchestra, only Hatsune Miku suspended inside an electronic soundscape. Composer Keiichiro Shibuya uses Miku's artificial immortality to explore themes of consciousness, obsolescence, and death itself. Because Miku cannot technically die, the opera imagines something stranger. What would it mean for an artificial being to disappear? And while many people dismiss The End as pretentious or even incomprehensible, I genuinely believe it is one of the most profound works that Vocaloid has ever produced. The show opens with electronic strings and Miku's voice drifting in like smoke. Images flash and glitch on the screen. Rain, an eye, a dragon, and Miku herself. Suddenly, large eyes burst onto the screen, and Miku floats on the stage. Then, a strange blue mouse-like creature waddles across. This mouse, this little companion, becomes one of the central figures of the opera. And before we can even begin to orient ourselves, the camera zooms through a city and into Miku's nose? Our narrator holds on to this image, comparing the twitching nose to an ever-moving landscape. It is deeply strange, but also intentional. To zoom into a nose, the most mundane biological part of a face, is to force us to confront the body, our physical, mortal form, one that Miku lacks. The mouse returns, claiming it feels the need to protect Miku. We see her face up close, breathing heavily, almost in distress. When asked if she's worried and why, she doesn't know. Helicopters are flying above today, the mouse says. The sound is deafening. A man is giving a speech at the train station, but no one can hear him over the spinning blades. Miku asks, "Is it a special day?" The mouse replies, "No, just an ordinary day. People go to work, go to school, plan their holidays as normal." And then Miku says something quietly profound. "Just now, maybe I was dreaming that I was breathing." For a human, breathing is unconscious. You do it without thinking. But Miku is questioning whether even that involuntary action belongs to her, whether she experiences anything at all, or whether it is only a kind of dreaming, a simulation of living. Before we can sit with that, a strange figure appears at a vending machine, a humanoid creature with hair like Miku's. She buys a drink, then turns and approaches. The mouse decides it's best to leave. Miku is left alone to face this being. A bright light and ominous synth chords. We fade to black. Whispers fill the silence. We're in what looks like an empty office. A single chair, a lamp, and fluorescent lights overhead. Miku wanders through the space, and then she begins to sing. "Open the door. You look just like me. Why are you here? What do you want to say? Have you ever wondered about death? I'm human. I know I will die. But you? Have you ever thought about death? But I'll tell you, you're going to die too. Are you surprised? You thought you'd never die? You're troubled, I can tell, but it will take time. You will accept it." The walls are cracked now. The lights are gone. 3 lifeless bodies float around Miku. She curls into a ball, and the screen fades to black. This song, "What Did You Come Here For?" is where the opera announces its intentions. Miku is not speaking to another character here. Not really. She's speaking to herself. She's speaking to the viewer. This mirrored figure that looks like her is the question that the show has been asking. What are you? And whatever you are, human, digital, or something in between, you are going to die. The bodies floating around her are simply a preview, a warning. The song does not just confront Miku with death, it confronts us, the viewers. It reaches through the screen and makes it personal. For yes, as humans, we will all die. This is the opera's main theme, and it's not going to let us look away. Miku falls through the sky. She crashes into the ocean and struggles to breathe. She sings of the moment she truly understood her own mortality. For her, as for many of us, death has always felt distant, something that happened to other people, something related to others, but now it is something that she must confront herself. Death has moved from abstract to personal, and that shift changes everything. She sings that she can no longer pretend that she doesn't care. 2 large hands reach down and pull her from the water. This image of drowning then being lifted is the shape of reckoning with mortality. You hit the bottom, and then somehow something pulls you back up. Not because the fear is gone, but because you're still here. The song ends, and Miku reappears. She makes a phone call. "I miss you," she says. The strange creature reappears, transforming into a purple organism, then into a polygonal skull, and then into something more abstract. It asks what she means. She says she missed it, but she doesn't want it to come see her. It doesn't understand. "I don't know how I can explain it any better," Miku says. "Then what do you want me to do?" "Nothing. There's nothing you can do." What a cruel thing to say. "So why did you call me?" And here is the line that stopped me the first time I heard it. "I'm not talking to you right now. I'm talking to the phone in my hand." I want to take a moment here because this line is one of my favorite moments in the entire opera. On the surface, it reads almost as a rude dismissal, but I think it's something more melancholy than that. When we reach out to someone through technology, a phone call, a text, a video chat, we hear them and we may even feel close to them. But are we really talking to them? Or are we performing the act of connection while distracting our attention at a screen? There's something different about being in the same room as someone. When we're face to face, we're fully present. We notice those micro shifts in expressions before words are even spoken, the shift in someone's posture and body language, the pause that means more than whatever comes after it. All the things that a human being does that doesn't come across through a speaker. Through a phone or a computer, all those aspects of human connection are gone. What's left is a voice and the story that you're already telling yourself about who's on the other end. Miku isn't being cold when she says this. She's being honest. And honest in a way that cuts because we've all felt it. That strange loneliness at the end of a phone call. That emptiness of being in contact with someone, but not truly with them. Miku follows that statement with, "It's hard to know when to hang up the phone. We're apart to begin with, so there's no real parting." This is the particular grief of modern disconnection, modern technological loneliness. After a musical interlude, we fade to black. Then, flames and smoke begin to rise. Miku reappears in a gas mask, floating as air hisses and digital static fills the soundscape. What follows feels like a conversation between 2 versions of Miku, one who has awoken to the reality of her existence, and one still in this kind of blissful ignorance. The awakened Miku mentions the smell of a particular person, like baby powder. She notes that it is natural for humans to have a physical scent, but she cannot perceive her own. Dark blobs begin to surround her, restricting her movement. She says that she regrets what she said on the phone, that humans are bound to make mistakes. A slip of the tongue, like saying that she's human in the previous sentence, when she is not. The other Miku replies, "That's never happened to me. You give me words, and I pronounce them perfectly every time, no matter how fast." Miku is a vocal synthesizer. She exists precisely because she is flawless in the way that humans are not. She does not misspeak, she does not lose her train of thought, and she doesn't get tired. And she certainly doesn't have a slip of the tongue. And yet, this flawlessness is also her limitation. She does not choose her words. She can't. Back in the office, drifting and spinning, Miku in the gas mask comes face to face with this dark entity. She asks, "Am I really going to die?" It replies, "Are you only asking because you do not wish to die? Your reaction is normal." That both relieves me and disappoints me at the same time. And then Miku asks the question that is the beating heart of this opera. If I'm going to die one day, what does dying mean for me? I want to reflect on that question for a moment because I think it's genuinely one of the most interesting questions that art can ask. What does dying mean for me? It isn't asking about the mechanics of death, and it isn't asking when or how. It's asking about meaning. Asking about what the end of a particular life signifies. The mysterious entity does not answer. And that is exactly right, because this isn't a question that anyone else can answer for you. The show presents it and leaves it open because it should be open. Your answer will depend on what you believe happens after, or how you've experienced loss, or the shape that your life has taken and the things that you haven't done yet. There is no universal response. A brief moment of silence. Then, typing hands. A voice, possibly Miku, describes death as having once felt almost irrelevant. When it came up, it was always in association with others. It doesn't have to do with me. She didn't understand until that morning. But now, she knows. After that morning, she knew her life would end. And that's the reality of it, isn't it? Death is always distant until the morning that it isn't. We return to Miku sitting alone in a chair, looking sad. We travel through her mouth and into her heart. She sings, "Is this place dark? Is it light? Is it so dazzling that we can't see? I'm so scared. An unknown place is scary. Why is the unknown so scary? Is this really unknown? Maybe I've been here before." Her heart is stabbed with forks, and it begins to bleed. She remembers cutting her finger and seeing the blood fall, but it isn't there anymore. Maybe a false memory? This is one of the opera's most delicate and painful passages. Miku is reaching for physical experience, for proof that she has a body, that she bleeds, that she's real, in the way that really matters, but she's only met with more uncertainty. The fear of looking inward and finding nothing is one that humans know too. We often refer to it as an existential crisis, but the experience of suddenly not being sure what is inside you, what you actually are, when all the outside performance falls away, is deeply and recognizably human. We return to the empty office. Miku and the mouse are together again. The mouse describes the outside world. Trash on the street, crows overhead. Miku interrupts, "Why do you do this? You keep describing things that mean nothing to me. They have nothing to do with me." The mouse acknowledges what had happened. The strange Miku-like creature appeared and told her things that the mouse says she didn't need to know. "You used to be much more human when we first became a team," the mouse says. But Miku knows she isn't human. She wonders if she is like humans, but taken to the extreme. "Do you want to be human again?" the mouse asks. "You are incomplete. Would you like to be complete?" And then the mouse attacks. The two combine into this dragon-like monster. Miku sings, "What should I do? Given that I exist to be far from human, I'll be isolated, and isolation is the same as dying, discarded, no better than dead. Then I'm not so different from humans after all. Imperfect. I am mortal just like humans. I am me because I am imperfect. I can speak faster without breath. But if I cannot choose which words to speak, if I don't have the words to say, I cannot move, I cannot speak, I cannot simply be here. And during that time, I am dead. If you have anything, give it to me. I can't do anything with nothing. Something, anything, I need some kind of input, or there is nothing I can do." This is the paradox at the center of Miku's existence, and is one that the opera has been building towards this whole time. She is defined by her perfection, perfect pitch, perfect speed, perfect pronunciation, and yet that perfection requires input. She cannot generate meaning on her own. Without the words given to her, she is silent. Without a song, she does not exist. In that sense, she is more dependent than any human. A human, stripped of language, stripped of context, still has an interior life, still is something. We might argue what remains is their soul. Miku, stripped of input, is nothing. Silence. A program waiting to run. And she has just realized that this emptiness is its own kind of death, that she is dying constantly, every time no one is speaking through her, every time the music stops. The mouse puts it plainly, "You're disconnected from me. When you are perfect, you cannot be one with my imperfections." But Miku doesn't want to merge. She doesn't want to be imperfect. She doesn't want to need anymore. "Teach me music that will last, even if the world disappears," she sings. A melody to sing over and over again. She asks the mouse not to leave. "Please stay." But the mouse creature leaves her anyway. Miku gets one more phone call. It's the same mysterious being she called before. And this time, she finally explains what she meant. She misses them, but she doesn't want to see them. She's calling to say goodbye, because this is the last time they will speak. Their connection is ending. Her missing them is preemptive, already cast forward into a future where they are no longer in contact. There is a particular grief in choosing to end something. It is knowing the door is closing and saying farewell before it shuts. You are mourning something that is still technically present, something that you know will be ending because you're choosing for it to end. The call ends. The final section of the end is where I think the opera becomes something genuinely beautiful. 2 closing arias. Aria for the voice and words, and aria for the end. Miku is truly disappearing, but she will hold on to her memories. She cannot move, she cannot speak, she cannot see, but she also cannot forget. And she asks the viewer a question. Does it look like she is dead, or only sleeping? Because truly, they're not that different. I keep thinking about that. There is something in that line that refuses easy comfort. It doesn't say that she will wake up. It doesn't say that death is only a rest. It says that the line between the two is blurrier than you think. And maybe that's okay. For Miku, disappearing is something that has already happened to her in some sense. Every time that the music stopped, every time the screen went dark, she's been dying and returning this whole time. So the ending is no different from what she's already known. It's just the last instance of a pattern that defined her existence. There is something quietly consoling about that, and something quietly heartbreaking. The end is a strange work. It is slow and difficult and unapologetically weird. It will zoom into a nostril and hold it for longer than you think is reasonable. It will leave its biggest questions deliberately and permanently unanswered. But I think that strangeness is the point. We are fundamentally uncomfortable with death. We build entire belief systems and cultural rituals to attempt to manage that discomfort. And art forces us to sit inside that discomfort and refuses to offer any resolution. The end uses Hatsune Miku brilliantly, because she is the perfect figure to ask these questions through. She exists at the boundary between human and inhuman. She is beloved by millions of people who have real emotional responses to her performances, and yet she is code. She is a voice with no lungs. And the end asks us, does that make her any less real? Does that mean her death is any less meaningful? And if your answer is yes, that she's just a program and her fear isn't real, the opera turns that around and asks, how are you so sure about yours? And what does dying mean to you? That final question doesn't have an answer the opera can give you, and it doesn't try to. It just places it out in front of you, quietly, with beautiful music and strange visuals, and a little blue mouse that leaves when things get hard, and trusts you to find your own way through it. If you've seen the end, I'd love to know what it meant to you, especially that question about what dying means for you personally. Drop it in the comments below. And if you want more video essays on music, Vocaloid, video games, and more, please consider subscribing. So long, my Shadow Sprites, till we meet again.